Alright guys, I just gave you some instructions in Zoom, and so here we are on January 13th. I'm taping this a few days ahead of time, but I'm live with you in class. And what I want to do is go ahead and give you some notes today, reviewing on factoring trinomials. It's what we did last semester, and I'm going to take it to another level, maybe a little bit on Friday. And so I want to spend some time really reviewing this, and remember what I said, okay? For those of you who struggled with this, or you didn't do it, remember what our big thing is. If you have a C or higher on May 1st, I will change your first semester grade if it's below that, and your second semester grade will basically be the same. And I said that because we said we're doing new stuff that requires old stuff. And taking notes and staying with me is very, very important. The cool thing about this, and doing this on YouTube for a couple of days, is that if you fall behind, or if I'm going too fast in the notes, you can pause it and give yourself time to get caught up, okay? And you can go back and watch it, or you can go back and see that as a demonstration as we do some of these problems together. Okay, so here we are. So you have your notes, and we're going to do IM2. It's January 13th, Factoring Trinomials Part 1, and let's go ahead and start our notes, okay? All right, so I'm going to take this off, by the way. Do you know it's live or it's whatever because of COVID? Okay, so I presented this thing as a trinomial. And we also use the word quadratic, okay? Remember, because we're doing things to the second power, okay? So what we're going to focus on is ax squared plus bx plus c. Go ahead and write that down. Now, at the end of Thanksgiving, we were solving these and setting them equal to 0. We're not going to go there right now. We're just going to go ahead and review our old-fashioned factoring with our diamond, if you remember when we were talking about the diamond, okay? So, whether I say factor the trinomials, factor the quadratic, or whatever, it's about 3 pieces. So trinomial means 3, okay? And then it is our to the second power, the fact that it's to the second power, that makes it our quadratic, okay? So there we are sitting there with our quadratic. So factoring trinomials and everything else. All right. We also said that our instructions for this in order to factor were really quite easy, okay? That there's just 2 questions we have to ask, and then I call it a game. And so the 2 questions we ask are the 2 steps. How about we use steps instead of questions? How about we say, do I have a GCF? And we see if we can make our diamond. Now, not all trinomials factor, but, and I said if I made them off the top of my head, there's no way it would. But since we're teaching you how to break something down into 2 pieces, then most of the time your problems are going to go ahead and factor. All right. Now, I introduced this as a game, okay? And so we're going to go ahead and kind of review how the game is played. And then when we actually do the problems, it would be a lot easier. Okay, so I hope that I present this, and some of you seeing it for the second time might get it, especially if you didn't do the work the first time. And those of you who understood it, I hope it just starts going like this, where it becomes faster and faster and faster and faster. So let's write this down. Remember, if I'm going too fast, just go ahead and pause the video. Okay, then you can kind of see where it's paused and go ahead and get filled in. So we said if I want to know all the numbers that we can do to get to the number 20, okay, then we're going to look for the factors of 20. And our key number, in case those of you who are not great at your times tables, or if you need a way to organize, we would say, all right, start with the number 1. All of these little examples here are going to start with the number 1. And then we go to 20. And we're using, remember what I call this bookend method. So we just start kind of working our way down. And we try the number 2. And then it's 10. Okay. We try 3. 3 is a decimal. 3 doesn't go into 20 evenly, so we skip it. And then our last ones are 4 and 5. Okay? Our last ones were 4 and 5. And we said, hey, look, if you can do positive times positive is positive, that's great for junior high or 5th grade. But we also now have the negative versions. And you just copy the same problems down, except for instead of them both being positive, we're both going to make them negative. So go ahead and have that part of yourself ready for what we're doing here. So factors of positive 20. So those are all the ways to get a positive 20. So I was actually teaching you how to play this kind of game before I actually ever gave you a problem. Okay, before I even gave you the problem, I was preparing you. And then I said, if you remember, I said, how about what if we were to add them up together? Okay, what if we add them up? And so all of these, there's our time sign, and so that all gives us a positive 20. But if we were to add them together, we would get 21. 2 plus 10 is 12. 4 times 5, excuse me, 4 plus 5 is 9. Negative 1 and negative 20 is negative 21. Add those together, we get negative 12. And we get negative 9. Now, if we weren't in COVID and you guys were in class with me all the time, we would have spent maybe a day or two just playing with this right here. Just getting you used to seeing all these combination of numbers together. Now, what this led to was exactly what you're about to see. I then asked you and said, okay, well, let's see how this is really applied, and let's do a problem together. So this is a trinomial. It's separated by addition and subtraction and addition problems. And I want it broken down, or I want to go in reverse. Remember, I would say that a trinomial can be factored into two binomials. And so I said, this is the game. We're going to play a game here. Do not freak out about the x squared or the x. You are simply going to look at two numbers. Well, first of all, we would see if there's a GCF and see if there's anything that we can pull out of the problem. And then this is a no. Then I'd say the diamond is just an organizational tool. Remember, the diamond doesn't give you the answer. We put the answer in, but it's not some sort of magic thing. And so we call the diamond looks like an asterisk or a snowflake or something like that. And the diamond said, or the organization says, find two numbers that when you multiply you get 20, and when you add them together you get negative 12. This is a game. A game that any freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, I don't care what you are, can learn how to play. So we put the numbers in. And we're ready to find numbers. So when you guys say 20 to me, I just say 4 times 5. I mean, that's the first thing that's going to pop into my head. And so, oh my gosh, 4 times 5 is 20. Ooh. 4 plus 5 is not negative 12. Now, I'm good enough, and there's also some of you that are watching the video right now can say, oh, it's something to do with 10 and 2, you know, negative 10 or negative 2. But if you're not good with your times tables, then you might just have to, but trust me, the more you do this, the better you get. But if you're not good with your times tables, then I have a way for you to find all the factors of 20. You're looking for a negative 12, and if you come to this piece right here, we call this the winner. And then you just simply put in negative 2 and negative 10. I'll let you get caught up just for about 10-15 seconds, or pause the video and get that put in. Okay, so I'll give you a little bit of time. I know I go a little bit fast when I'm doing the videos. All right, well, this all checks out. Look at negative 2 plus negative 10. Negative 12, negative 2 times negative 10, positive 20. And your final answer is x minus 2 times x minus 10 And it's been a long time since we multiplied binomials. We should probably spend maybe some time just practicing multiplying by binomials again. It's really easy. But it's x minus 2 times x minus 10. You could check it with FOIL, and you would get back to where you started. All right, let me get out of your way. So this is what we kind of did from like November 1st to Thanksgiving break. We were solving, and then when we came back from Thanksgiving break, we were playing around with the quadratic formula. All right, take a good look at that there. We're going to go ahead and do 2 more problems together total, and that will end this batch of notes. And there'll be an assignment that you'll be working on after we kind of do this, because hopefully this is just a nice review for you to get going. Alright, I'm going to erase this out and just use the same part of the board because I think that's where the video, the camera needs me to be. And so I'm going to erase this so you can pause it and finish writing that down. But let's go ahead and look at our second problem together. Let me get an eraser here. All right, so we're going to do factors of negative 56. And of course, you know I'm going to put a problem in here that has negative 56 in. So don't say, well, how did you know? I'm making it up. Okay, and I know what problem I want to give you guys. So we're going to find and write down all the factors of negative 56. And that is where, remember, have a calculator out to just find the numbers. Because that does not look like a number I want to write all the factors down to. But the number we're starting with is 1. And we're going to, like I said, use that bookend method or just see. So what comes out? Well, sorry. We're going to go ahead and go negative 56. All right. What comes after 1 is 2. So I do 56 divided by 2 on my calculator. And I get 2 times negative 28. I try 3 and I get a decimal. I do the number 4. Ooh, 4 works. Four times negative 14. See how they're closing in? I try 5. 5's a no. 6 is a no. And I punch 7 in. And I get 7 times negative 8. So there's nowhere else to go, right? I mean, I'm going to go. So you can kind of see that once you closed in, but remember, you have also the opposite versions of this. So what's going to happen here is, notice I'm going to write 8, 14, 28, and 56. Right, we're going to do their counterparts right here. Go ahead and, like I said, I'll give you about 15 seconds to kind of get caught up there so you don't have to stop the video. Or if not, you can go ahead and stop the video. Remember, I will put the link in Canvas, but you can always go and maybe even subscribe to my YouTube page. It's only related to Chafee. It's not famous or anything. But once you subscribe, and if you do YouTube and you have an account, then you'll always be able to get to the videos. And that's what you guys were doing before break. All right, so all I do is just repeat these numbers here. So it's times negative 7, times negative 4, times negative 2, and times negative 1. So every time you do 1, they squeeze together, and then you do their opposite. So go back to example 1, see how we got all the positives, and we did both negatives together, and then see how these reverse. Okay, and that's what happens on every problem. Let's add them up. Negative 55, negative 26, negative 10, and negative 1. And then look how it's going to reverse. 1, 10, 26, and 55. It'll always be that way. So usually I give you the factoring problem, and then this is what you do first, right, as you make your diamond, okay? I'm just pretending, once again, hey, we could do this all day long. But now let me give you a problem where we're actually going to use this. So let's go ahead and factor. X squared plus x minus 56. So I actually wanted to kind of pick one out here that's like, whoa, that's a little weird. There's nothing with the x right there. And so I intentionally kind of picked this problem out because I know we've seen it, but I don't know if I did any really good examples with you. I think you guys figured it out, but I don't know if I was ever really that good of doing the problem with you guys. So I wanted to make sure I did an example with that today. All right, so let's do this. Maybe I can rewrite the problem with skinny friend. It usually looks like that. He put on a little weight over the holidays, so I made a different kind of one right there. All right, but he's still our skinny friend, because usually we just write him just with a single one. I still, remember, I want you to ask the question every time. The answer is going to be no on this first assignment, okay? At least partially. But I do want you, every time you hear the word factor, you say GCF. Which is a no. And now we're back to our diamond, and we're going to play the game. So the stuff written in black is going to be that way every time. It's two factors of negative 56 that have a small gap of 1. So these numbers probably aren't going to be far apart, right? I mean, the smaller the number, the smaller the gap is with what we're doing. And so we already kind of made our table right here. And we're looking for a negative 56, which is a guarantee. Remember, this is guaranteed on the left. And so all you have to do is find the combination that gives you a 1. Okay? Find the combination that gives you a 1. And we're going to do 8 times negative 7, so I'm going to go ahead and put 8 there. And negative 7 there. It doesn't matter where you put the 8 and the negative 7, but 8 better be positive and 7 better be negative. That's the only way to get a 1 instead of a negative 1. And so once again, we have 8 plus negative 7 would check that with FOIL. Every trinomial problem is going to have the same basic thing to it, okay? Every trinomial problem is going to kind of have the same factor or piece to it, and it's really something I want you guys to do, especially when we've been gone for a few weeks. I want you guys, you know, we were together last week, but I want you guys to really get these numbers. We got to get these numbers going back again in our head, and this is part of, you do well second semester, I'll take care of you if you did sucky first semester. All right, so that's where we want to be. Let's do one more. I think we're about 27 minutes into this, but trust me, I'm not going to give you a ton of problems to do with the assignment, and we're going to kind of work on this on Friday also. So let me give you one more problem of the not factorable. So I'm going to erase this all out again. So once again, pause the video if you need to go ahead and get caught up. We're getting some of the numbers written down, and I'm going to go ahead and jump to our last problem together in this video. So before we write what the third problem is, let's go ahead and make another little table here that says factors of 18, factors of positive 18, and we're going to go ahead and add them up together. Factors of positive 18, add them up. You gonna be ready? All right, so 18 is an easy number to work with, but once again, I can't forget anything, you never know. So I start with the number 1. And we do the number itself. 1 times 18. I jump to the number 2. And we're already at 9, and look how fast it's closing in. I try 3. And I get the 6. And I try 4 and 5, and it doesn't work. So that is there with the top half. And so I simply have to remember if they can both be positive, because that's what I'm going for, then they can both be negative. So go ahead and write down their counterparts here. Give you just a few seconds to get that done. We're at 29 minutes, so not bad. This will actually be a little bit shorter than you guys actually have to listen to me on a normal day. We're going to do shorter notes this semester, shorter little chunks of what we want to do here. Okay? All right. Pause if you need to, but I get 19, 11, and 9. I get negative 19, negative 11, and negative 9. So you're going to play this game in 7th or 8th grade. You didn't even know what factoring is. Teacher says, give me everything you can do to get negative 18. All right, here they are. Now, for some crazy reason, add them up. All right, I don't know why, but I'll add them up. That's what we just did. But let's get to IM2. Let's get to high school and say, what if I gave you this problem? We're going to factor x squared plus 10x minus 18. So I have x squared plus 10x minus 18. We're going to pretend, let me just cover this up. We're going to pretend that you haven't even looked or you haven't even thought about it yet. Because when you hear me say factor a trinomial, you look for a GCF, which is a no. Right? Because remember, they all don't have an x. And this is already the number 1, so we're doing the no. And let's make our diamond. Let's get rid of this black marker. Missed it. All right. We're going to go ahead and put that in. X and X. Negative 18 and positive 10. And don't make the mistake, especially when sometimes this number can be bigger than this one. Don't make the mistake of putting them in the wrong spot. Okay? We multiply to get negative 18, and we add to get to the middle. So you start playing the game, and you're saying, okay, it's negative 18 and 10. And if you look here, there's no 10. And what's that saying is there are no two numbers where you can get a positive 18 and come out with a positive 10. Look at, I don't think we're missing anything here. I think this is our entire list. And I don't give this to you. Remember, if I give you like 10 problems to do, I may give you 1 or 2 that can't be factored. But if you run into this issue, don't keep beating your head going, oh, I must have missed something. Not if you follow this. Simply write cannot be factored, and we are done. So remember, the back number is either going to be positive, where you get this situation, or negative. And then it's just finding what are the two numbers that give you that combination. So this is a review of what we started doing, like I said, late October and November. I told you it was very important. I shared with you last week that we're doing old and new together, and we're not going to do things that I would love to teach you, but we need to focus on getting you guys from here to IM3 in August and try and give you those skills. So we are ready to do the assignment for this. It's going to you'll see it in your Canvas. It's just going to be like assignment 1, factoring trinomials, and I'm only going to give you 10 problems to do. Okay? And so I hope that with about the 45 minutes we have left, we're going to do 10 problems. On Friday, I'm going to just review GCF with you guys just a little bit and just add 6 more problems to a second assignment. So this first week, you can get an A. I gave you an A if you took notes last week, okay? And if you did your little work last Friday. And this week, taking notes for 2 days and doing 16 problems keeps you at an A. And I just ask that you don't use an app. I ask that you just don't copy the answers down, that you really learn how to do this. All right, guys, this is the end of our part 1 video. And like I said, let's go ahead and get to work. I'm on the Zoom to help you guys. Thanks.